and it was one of those things that just kind of happened. You know what I mean? Right place, right time.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna ask you. Like, how did you get into those situations? You know, with speaking of the ABC, commercial, the spot, and the HBO boxing joint.
Yeah, well, I have to back up a little bit because it started with doing Def Poetry.
Right,
and
right.
Def Poetry is one of those things, like that was like the first national thing that I've done because I've done stuff all over Chicago. I was well known then, there.
Right.
So, they kind of, they had, top poets and they work in HBO. So I ended up getting on that show because a friend, my manager at the time, had me perform at a friend's barbecue in LA.
Okay.
And then I get a call a week later from her like, man, have you heard of this show called Def Poetry? And this is before the first season. I'm like, yeah, I've been trying to get down with that. And then she was like, well, my father, who was at my barbecue last week when you performed, he's best friends with Stan Lathan.
Damn.
He told Stan all about you.
Damn.
Stan wants to see you perform. I'm like, oh, wow. She's like, now you only have 4 weeks. He don't want you coming to office. He wants to see how a crowd go react to you.
Damn.
So I'm like, all right, so I'm like, man, how am I going to get to L.A.? Because I'm broke. I'm like, man, how am I going to get to L.A.? So the very next day, I get a call from my man, Bruce Jones. He out in L.A. He calls me up like, Jay, man, I got a show. I want you to come out here and do. He was like, I ain't got a lot of money, but I'll fly you out here, put you in a hotel, put your name on the flyer. I was like, man, when is it? He was like, 3 weeks. I was like, wow. Like, so, I got a month to get there, and then the next day I get a call talking about I'm bringing you out here in 3 weeks.
Damn.
So I go out to do the show. We invite Stan Lathan out. He actually came out, and I went out. Man, I ripped that. I tore that stage down. That was one of those stages I was proud of. You know what I mean?
You can curse, by the way, if you want. I mean, you're not regulated.
Yeah, like that was one of them joints. Like, oh, that was a good one. You had your bad nights, and you got to admit those too. But this was one of them good nights.
Word.
So,
No, man, that's opportunity, man. That's
I see this more as opportunity. It's more serendipitous. Like his man called him, was like, yo, I got a barbecue for to perform at. Free food, and you might get discovered out here, and bam, look at that shit. And then you got
right, and it was one of those things like I just happened to be going to LA. I called my man like, yo, I'm going to LA this weekend. So he calls his girl, and she like, oh man, that's perfect. My barbecue, I'm having a barbecue for my birthday that weekend.
That's what's
I had no idea. You know what I mean? It was just one of those things. So like after doing the show, after doing Def Poetry, because Stan, he like, man, send a tape in, and I send my tape in, I get on the show. And then so I came out to New York, and I was just really just networking, kicking it. And like while working on the commercials for Def Poetry, I was up in one of the edit houses while they were working on the commercial.
Yeah.
And then, this producer there was like, man, I'm doing this HBO boxing piece, and I was thinking about doing some spoken word. So I'm like, oh man, let's do it. You know what I mean? So it's like that's how my whole career has really been. It's like either me being there or a friend of mine, somebody I'm real cool with being in the right place, the right time. When poetry is mentioned, and they like, you got to call Jay Ivy.
Yeah,
like,
that's what's up, man.
You know what I mean? So
you got luck following you, man. You got luck following. That's good. Yeah, let me ask you one question. You gotta give me one word answer, all right?
Yeah.
Pacquiao Mayweather, since you were on boxing.
Pacquiao Mayweather?
Yeah.
Pacquiao.
Oh man, yo.
Now you didn't get paid to say that. I want everybody to know.
I think I love Floyd, but I think he might surprise him. You know what I mean? That dude, he's so fast, man.
Floyd
is fast, but I think he's a little faster.
Yeah, I talked to a lot of people, man, and the thing with me, man, I go way back to the era of Leonard, Hagler, Hearns, and all these cats, and it's like I could tell you so many reasons why I can appreciate Floyd. And I could tell you reasons why he would beat certain guys, man. But, man, just Pacquiao right now, man, it's hard for me to bet against this dude. It really is. Because every fight he gets into, it becomes a situation where they're like, oh, well, maybe this guy's got this and that. And with all the things Floyd has, man, I think it's a situation, too, where you didn't fight a lot of guys in your time to get you ready for a guy who has been fighting the guys, so
right.
It's tough, man. It's tough.
He made a good call. That's what's up.
Yeah, man, that'd be it, man. I just want to see it.
Yeah, me too.
I wouldn't mind being wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, because I don't like. I would love to see Floyd win it. You know what I mean? I love to see either one. I'd be happy for either one of them because it'd just be great for sports. You know what I mean? Like that's just great to see. Like, when was the last great fight? You know what I mean? Like, we need that fight.
Yeah, I think that like the
fight.
last one they promoted really big was the fight with Mayweather and De La Hoya. But then when that happened, it didn't live up to the hype, you know, because it was just, you know, it was a little too cautious.
Bro,
but at least
man.
with Pacquiao, you never seen a Pacquiao fight to where he's cautious. You know, the dude goes for the kill at any which way possible. So it makes it interesting, even if it's Floyd Mayweather in the ring. You know?
Yeah, like that needs to be one of those trilogy fights.
I'd love to see that.
It needs to be one of those. It's like we haven't
Rocky
had the part 1, 2, 3. We haven't had that in a while. You know what I mean? And that needs to be that fight. You know what I mean?
Oh shit, man! Good call. Shit. Yo, let me ask you a question. Yo, you've been working with mad heads and everything. Who'd you have the most fun working with? Like, who was a pleasure working with so far in your career?
Man, the most fun working with.
I don't know if fun is the right word. I guess more like you know, it was like an honor to work with that person. Like, you know, I you know, this is a person I follow their career, and damn, look at that. Would you know that I'm working with this person now? I guess fun was the wrong word.
It, you know, yeah, like it was really amazing. I mean, everybody probably expect this answer, but it was really amazing to work, you know, with Kanye and Jay-Z.
Right, I was just gonna ask you that. Yeah.
On Never Let Me Down, like that was because I mean, I was there, you know what I mean, watching, you know, Kanye's career. You know what I mean, we was all, you know, it was a Chicago crew out in New York, and we were all kicking it.
Right. So you saw him coming up.
Yeah, we saw it. We saw him coming up. Like, we knew him from the Shy. We knew he made beats. I knew about the, you know, the Go Getters back in the day. You know what I mean? The group he had with GLC.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I go back to those days. Like, I'm, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm like that young uncle age. You know what I mean?
Yo,
you know what I mean?
Not old enough to get your 401k, but old enough to, you know, put an ass whipping on.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? So. Yeah, so, you know what I mean, like, it was something that we all saw, you know what I mean, even though a lot of people on the outside looking in didn't see what he was going to become. We saw it. We knew it, you know what I mean, and at the same time, the people around, we knew who we were, you know what I mean, so it was one of those, like, okay, I know I'm one of the greatest to ever do this, you know what I mean, just because this is what God gave me, and He's shown me too many times, and I'm not going to deny it. If that's what He wants me to be, that's what I'm going to be.
So be
You know what I mean? So, it was just this crew of just amazing people kicking it. And you know what I mean? And then to finally have the opportunity to work with them, and then for it to be the record that it is, on the album that it is, to make history the way it did. You know what I mean? Like, that's just one of those, like, man, like.
So you were in the studio? Were you in the studio with them working, like, for that record, or?
I work with Kanye. Jay-Z's part was already done.
Word. You
know what I mean? Well, the first part, because when I came in, he just had the first verse. The song was done when I came there. You know what I mean? It was one of those things where you know, I don't know if you know Cootie. You know Cootie?
Yeah, I mean, I know of. Yeah.
Yeah, so Cootie, you know, he directed the Through the Wire video, him and TK.
Okay.
And then they just did the window seat video, the Erykah Badu joint.
Right.
You know, so me and Cootie, this is my guy. So shortly after Kanye got in the accident, he calls Cootie up, you know, rapping to him with his mouth shut, you know what I mean? And we riding around Harlem at the time. And then, you know, Cootie looking at me like, yo, he's like, this dude over here rapping, and he ain't even supposed to be talking right now.
Oh, my God.
You know what I mean? Like, he ain't supposed to be talking, and he rapping.
That's the last person you're going to have shut up. I'm not going to front it.
Yeah, right. So he flew Cootie out because Cootie was documenting everything. So he's like, I need you out here with the camera. Wow. So Cootie goes to L.A. Next day, he calls me up like, yo, we was just at Jamie Foxx's crib. Him and Kanye did this song called Slow Jams. I got it all on tape. I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? The next day, they somewhere else kicking it. So then Saturday, I remember it was a Saturday. It was December. It rolled around, and then Cootie, I'm at the crib. I'm out in Brooklyn at the time, and I'm broke. I ain't got no money to go nowhere. You know what I mean? I'm like, I got a little weed. I got food. I'm straight. You know what I mean? Like,
you got your staples enough to hold you down. That's it. Enough. A quart of water, some trees, and that's it. Some food.
Right. I was like, yo, I'll chill, and you know what I mean, get my right on. You know what I mean? Like, ain't no big deal. You know. So what? I don't have $1.50 for the train right now. It's cool. You know.
Yeah.
So I'm right.